everyone, I'm Phoebe, and today I'm going over my top 5 favorite autistic characters. Okay, so, this is kind of a touchy subject when it comes to shows, because, it's kind of hard to write a character that is on the autism spectrum, because a lot of people either have no idea what they are doing, or over-stereotype the characters. I'm looking at you, Big Bang. But, yeah, there are some characters who are, just the best representation I've ever seen, and it is really good, and I feel validated. And I just want to talk about them. So these are my top 5 favorites. So let's get into it. Number 5 is Norma from Paranormal Park. Okay, so this show is just came out a couple months ago. I loved it. Everything was amazing. But Norma and Barney were the best parts, of course. But I'm going to talk about Norma. I'm going to talk about Barney in another video, but wait for that. For I don't know when, but Norma. It's Norma. Yeah, Norma is on the autism spectrum, and she's just wow, okay? She's just such a good example of it. I love it so much. There's a scene where she has a breakdown because she's scared of, the world and everything. And that's just too relatable to me. That scene was wow. Because that's one of my biggest fears, the outside world. And I don't, I'm trying my best to, go outside, but, it's hard. And I can totally relate to Norma. And also how, her special interest is Pauline Phoenix movies. I feel bad for her when, at the end, spoiler warning, when Pauline Phoenix turns out to be evil and her whole world basically just crumbles right in front of her. So that is a shame on her, but she's okay by the end, and she makes friends, which is really amazing to see as well, because it's really hard for autistic people to make friends. I should know. Number 4 is Gus from the Owl House. See, okay, I do kind of feel a bit bad about this one, because this one just went right over my head, and I didn't pick up on it until I watched a video about it. So, yeah. I kind of feel bad that I didn't pick up on it. But, I don't really pick up a lot of the times on artistic representation because it just goes over my head. Unless they specifically say in the show, or I read something about it, and then I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, Gus is a great character. He's kind of like a prodigy in, Hexside, the school they go to. Because he is an illusionist, and his illusions are, very powerful, more powerful than a lot of other illusionists in the show. And, he was moved up a lot of years, because he's the youngest in the main cast. He's only, 12. Not, unless you include King, but in this regard, King doesn't count. But, yeah, Gus is the youngest out of his friend group. When he has an autistic meltdown, all of his illusions and memories just, come out and, take over everywhere. Because, I don't know how to describe it, but, his memories basically, all become an illusion and everyone's trapped in them, basically. Yeah, that's kind of the best way to describe it. And he gets taken advantage of a lot and doesn't understand, when he said something too far, which, yes, that's what we do a lot of the time. So yeah, he's really good representation and a very good character. Also, his relationship with Hunter is so wholesome. I love it. It's platonic. Don't even say it. Hunter's 16, he's 12. Don't say it. But yeah, his relationship with Hunter is so wholesome. Number 3 is Abed from Community. You probably, didn't see this one coming, because you're probably just going to think it was animated characters, but there are some live-action ones, too. Although live-action ones tend to be the not-so-good ones, but Abed is a really good example, because the creator of the show actually is on the spectrum as well. Abed is obsessed with making movies, which, I kind of am, because I make videos, and he's obsessed with TV shows and talks about them all the time, and uses them as examples of things, which I do as well. And it's kind of his comfort thing. So yeah, I relate to Abed a lot. He was the best character on the show. Well, the second, not the second best, but him and the Dean were equally the best characters. If you combine the two of them together, then that is me. But yeah, Abed is a great character. Number 2 is Peridot from Steven Universe. This one's kind of more of a headcanon, but I don't care, I'm counting it. Peridot, if she is on the spectrum, or represents the spectrum, is a very good representation, Because she literally does not know when she said something crossed the line, because, she said it to Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl, all of them, and she didn't realize she hurt their feelings about what she said, which, is really amazing, but, she learns from her mistakes and apologizes. She's also obsessed with tech, obviously that's her special interest. She hisses at Steven. I used to hiss at people when I was younger and having an autistic meltdown. It would happen all the time, but I won't get into that. But yeah, Peridot is a great example of it, even if she's not on the spectrum, and she's just because she is a gem, and I don't think gems can be on the spectrum, but she's really good representation of it. So thank you, Rebecca Sugar, you did an amazing job with Peridot. And number 1, I think you can probably guess, is Entrapta from She-Ra and the Princess of Power. Entrapta is one of the best characters to ever exist, ever. And I've said that before I even knew she was on the spectrum, because I only learned that like a year ago. Like, it's so amazing, but she's so a good example of it. She's oblivious to literally everything going on around her. Her special interest is robots and tech, kind of like Peridot. She never understands when she's like crossed the line of her friends, and doesn't understand when they're mad at her. It's just so amazing. And even when she joins the Horde, because she gets kind of tricked into thinking that her friends abandoned her. They thought she died, but they kind of did abandon her. And she starts working with the Horde, but it's not because she's evil. It's just because the Horde is letting her do what she loves to do, and that's work with robots and make weapons. Because that's her special interest. She's kind of like, I don't know what it's called, but she's dated robots in the past as well, and she has a relationship with the main villain at the end, Hordak. They get together, yeah, it's so cute. I love that. It's really great. Entrapta is the best autistic character. I love her so much, and I kind of wish she had a spin-off, because I would watch that. I would 100% watch that. Please make a spin-off, Nate. Please. Nate is the person that made the show. Well, that was my top 5 autistic characters. I wanted to do a top 10, but I just, like, the rest of them, like, there's hardly any good representation of it. But these are the 5 best ones I could think of. But let me know if there's any autistic characters that I didn't talk about in the comments down below. And please like and subscribe. And remember, if you are trying to write an autistic character, then please do your research. And I'm Bibi, and I'll see you next time. Bye!